Good afternoon. My name is Elise Hatton and I am the Smart Hub Business Manager. Welcome to Thursday, 1 o'clock, HubLive. Now, as you know, we host these HubLives to pretty much information share. Share knowledge, tips, tactics around how people in business can grow their businesses, can implement technology, can use new ideas, innovate, adopt modern best business practice just to make the business journey more enjoyable, more viable, and more profitable. So today we're going to do something a little bit different to what we've done in recent weeks. And instead of sharing technology specifically, well, we will be doing that as well. But what we're going to do today is I have a very special guest, Dr. Abraham Zachariah, and he's going to share with us how he came to see a really big problem in his industry and how he then turned that problem or the understanding and insight of that problem into a tech startup and how he is growing that business now. And that business is called, that tech startup is called Xtras Health Plan. Hello, Abraham. How are you?
Good, thanks, Elise. How are you?
I am super, super well, thank you. It's a bit chilly today, I have to admit. I have my warm jumper on.
Yep, I'm in a warm room. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. So, Abraham, you're a dentist.
That's right.
And how did you decide to become a dentist? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
I mean, I'm from India, basically, and as the saying goes, in India, you're either a doctor, you're an engineer, or you're a lawyer, or you're nothing at all. But I didn't want to fit the mold. I actually wanted to be a pilot. And I tried to run away from home and join the Indian Air Force. But I was rounded up very fast by my grandparents who decided I was going to do medicine. So I decided to revolt against that, and I took up dentistry instead.
So can we say that you've always been a little bit of a rebel? I think that would be fair to say.
I would say so.
That's really good. I think a lot of people can relate to that, where there's a big expectation of what you should do, but really you want to do your own thing. And I think you're even doing that in your industry now, where there's an expectation of to stay narrowly in the dentistry lane, but you're ventured outside of that. So tell us, how long have you been a dentist, and when did you come to Australia?
So this is my 30th year as a dentist. So I passed out in 1990, and then I moved to UK and specialized into head and neck trauma and cancer surgery. Lived in the UK until 2000 and didn't really like the cold, so I decided to move back to India and start my own center there, which I did for a while. And things in India were very different, and found that my daughter couldn't really tolerate India after having grown up in UK. And so I thought, well, at the end of the day, my family matters more to me than what I do. So we moved to New Zealand, of all places. We moved to New Zealand. Beautiful place. I'll tell you that. It's a breathtaking, phenomenal place. But going from a town of 5 million people to a place where there were only 3,000 people, that was one heck of a challenge for me, that I couldn't take that. So I decided to move to Australia, and I moved to Gladstone. I think it was in 2002 that we moved to Gladstone. And we were there for about 2 years, and then we moved to Rocky. So I've been in Rocky since 2005. So this is our 15th year in Rocky.
Nice. And you've definitely come to where it's warmer. Not today, but generally.
This is like a summer's day back in Scotland.
Yeah, true. I know. Absolutely. Okay, so when did you notice a problem in your industry, and what specifically did you notice? What is that problem?
Yeah, I mean, that's, so for example, the way the health system works in Australia is it's a share between a public system and a private system. The public system is geared to deal with more hospital sort of things, and they do have things like dentistry and all that kind of stuff. But it is very, very limited to people with very low income, or you have to fit up multiple criteria to meet that requirement. And there's only about 1 or 2% of Australians who meet that criteria. So that means 99% of Australians don't. So the only way the rest of other Australians can meet their services are either pay out of their own pocket directly or get into private health insurance. So like everybody else, when I came to Australia, they told me I need insurance, and I took insurance, and I was very faithful with Medibank for about 10, 11 years until my daughter decided she wants braces. So she went to an orthodontist in town, and I suddenly realized that was a heck of a lot of money being wasted over the last 10 or 12 years paying into Xtras Health Insurance, because one, I didn't understand it, which was, I don't blame the health insurance company for that. I take individual responsibility because I should have educated myself on how it works. I did not, because I was way too busy, or I had the excuse that I'm too busy in my life to worry about small stuff. But that small stuff that I didn't worry about, when I actually put a dollar value to that, that was phenomenal. That opened my eyes. That was my first eye opener. The second thing was, as a dentist, the most common thing I see with patients are the ones who have had private health insurance for a very long period of time, right? And they come in and they want something done. And you say, okay, here's what I believe is the best for you. Here's an in-between solution. And here's what's the worst option that you could go for, but it costs the least. The choice is yours. You pick what you want to do. And these are people who probably have had private health insurance for 30, 40 years. And guess what? They go back to the health plan, they check with it, and they get almost next to nothing, or my preferred word is zippo back for all those years that they have been a member. And they choose, unfortunately, because of financial reasons or whatever it is, they often choose inferior options. Now, 10 years ago, those patients who chose the inferior options are coming back to me today, a few of them, not all, a few of them, and they're choosing the option that I gave them the very first time. Right? And now they're paying a lot more for it because there's been a substantial loss of bone and all those other kind of issues that you deal with. And it makes you wonder, well, what is insurance, right? So to me, my definition of insurance is, I have a car, it costs X amount of dollars. Just let's say I hypothetically pick a figure and say $50,000 is its market value. I go ding the car and it's a write-off. My excess is $1,000. Say I pay the $1,000, the insurance company pays me out or gives me a different car or whatever they do. The rest of the cost is up to them. That is true insurance. But the way Xtras Health Insurance works in Australia is the health insurance companies pay the excess. So I challenge you to find me a policy in Australia where the insurance company pays the bigger portion and you pay the lesser portion. There isn't one. So how do you call it insurance? So that in itself is a misnomer. So effectively, all it is a budgeting tool. So you pay X amount of money into private health insurance and you get a coupon for $150 or $200 towards this service. Or you go to the dentist and you can have 2 cleans and 2 this and 2 that. And the cost of that is $500 or $700 is what we pay. But if you sit down and do the math on it, which I've done numerous times, which is why I started to do this thing, was you generally pay 70% more than what you get back. So if you average it out, and there's APRA data. APRA is the regulator, prudential regulator of health insurance companies. So the APRA data says the gap that people pay on an average is 49%. So effectively, whatever you're paying, you pay another same amount to get 49% cover. So how's that of any value? I mean, I fail to see value. I mean, unless I'm missing something drastically, I fail to see value. So the only way they can provide value is what they have done in Australia, which is unique to Australia, which now Ireland is trying to model. It's called community rating. So what it means is you cannot discriminate or have somebody else pay more because of their health condition. So everybody shares the burden equally.
Mm.
And so what happens here is you think you're going to protect your family and pay the higher amount, so you get more for your family. No, that's not how it works. You're actually paying more for other people to have equitable benefit. So call me selfish, but I would much rather donate to somebody directly or give to somebody else's care than give it to a health insurance company that's going to line its pockets, line everything, shareholder pockets and everything else first before others get it.
Mm.
So to me, that was a no-brainer. So in my practice, we've got a trust that we have established, which we fund every year to a certain amount of money. And if you fit certain criteria, we treat you for nothing out of our trust funds. For me, that makes a heck of a lot more sense. That, you know, as an individual, you create your own trust fund, and if you want to help someone, you know, do it from there. You know, why give it away to somebody else for them to make, you know, pay their shareholders dividends and things like that instead of running better business models.
I understand.
So that led to, I was really frustrated, and I thought I need to find a way. So I created what is now the world's first or unique health plan, which is why I've been granted an innovation patent on it, which is basically a health plan where, think of it as a dedicated health savings account. So you get interest on it. It's a low risk. You know, we don't want to risk your money on the stock market. Yes, you'll get a lot more returns if you do it yourself. If that's you, don't sign up with us at all. Please go ahead and do it. But when you lose your money, you know, the stress is also yours to bear. So what we have done is a unique model in that people accumulate the money, and as the membership base grows, it's a bigger member buying group. So as a group, you get better negotiating powers. So for example, if me as a dentist, I'm approached by say a big members buying group like Xtras Health Plan, and says, look, this is our size in the market over here. We would like to buy your services at XYZ rate. I'm more likely to look at it and say, yeah, I may not be getting 100% of what I want in every single situation, but at least I've got a little more guaranteed business. So, you know, there are two ways to make money in business: is either by what number of transactions or cost per transaction. Those are the only two variables that you have. And the advantage of a members buying group is, one, it lowers cost of acquisition to me as a dentist, which means my marketing dollars are not really high. I don't have those additional costs, which if I actually convert back, I'm actually not losing much money, but I'm getting a better return on my investment.
Mm.
If I was a member, as a member of Xtras Health Plan, I'm getting access to cap fee that people have signed up to a certain service. Or anyone who's registered with Xtras Health Plan, they're certified as being registered in Australia. They're certified as having an Australian license. They're an Australian business, and they are required by law to use everything that is certified by TGA as being allowed for use in Australia. So that is a unique model that is not there. You know, I'll say my practice, HSA Dental, we are a Bupa preferred provider. In the last 7 years, I can quote the number of services on one hand where the fee for service has gone up by more than 1%.
Mm.
Right? So if that is not actually a disincentive to offer better services to your clients, I do not know what is. So the concept of Xtras Health Plan is members need to benefit from cap fees and provider arrangements and all that. But it's equally, health providers should not be disadvantaged in any way. Unless they have that income stream, they're not going to want to innovate. They're not going to offer advanced technology that is available these days. I mean, I came to Rocky 15 years ago when I started my practice, and there was a whole stream of people going to Brisbane because they couldn't access service over here in Rocky. Yes, in 15 years, things have changed a bit. But if you look at it, people in Rocky still have the mentality that it's not available locally and they go to Brisbane. Now, are we at fault? Yes, we are at fault. We should be out there on the roof shouting louder, you don't have to go to Brisbane, and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we should be doing it. But if you know anything about health advertising, you're not allowed to do X, Y, Z, and you can't say anything. And people have to find out about you organically and all that kind of stuff. It makes it very, very difficult and challenging. And people here are traveling to Brisbane. There's all this additional cost of accommodation and loss of income and all this kind of stuff. So it's just an interesting thing. And time goes on. And I think through the COVID period, we've had one of the most interesting conversations with members of our group who are in Xtras Health Plan and go, well, let's just see how all these people with Xtras Health Insurance get their 2 check-in cleans if one of the check-in clean happened to be through the shutdown period. Right? So effectively, if you were in that shutdown period, you've lost that amount of money on top. Whereas with Xtras, you never ever lose your money. If you don't use it, it accumulates.
Okay, so Aidan, Small Business Learning Centre, Cooper, Bronwyn, Kylie, Patrick, thank you so much for joining us with our HubLive today. I'm here with Abraham Zachariah. He is from Xtras Health Plan. And really, we're talking about innovation. So as you would all know, innovation happens when you spot something in your industry or in your world, in your career, that could be done better, faster, cheaper. And essentially, we call this something that you spot, we call that a problem. And in innovation language, if you spot a problem and you're an expert in that problem, you can really see how that problem affects customers or users or members, and you provide a solution to make it easier, better, faster, cheaper for your customers, then that is what we call innovation. And we're talking to Abraham today because that is exactly what he did in his business. As a dentist and as a father, you noticed that the whole Xtras health insurance, that wasn't working very well. And I really like the analogy that you said, when you have insurance on a car, you pay the excess and you decide what that is to start with. But then with Xtras health cover, so if you have, optical or dental or physio, or what the health insurance insurers do is they pay the excess and you have to pay the rest, which is really strange. And then it does, regardless of how many years you hold that insurance, every year you've essentially lost your previous year's balance, whatever you paid into the insurance, and that goes to help or to put someone else's bill, and you start with a scratch every year with whatever minimum money you have in those Xtras health cover, just in terms of them paying the excess, right? And so what you did is you innovated a solution for that problem.
That's right.
And you've been awarded an innovation patent. And I know you've developed a whole platform for people to be able to access this whole different and innovative way of covering health costs for the Xtras. And I'm very keen for you to show us what this platform looks like. Would you mind sharing your screen with us and giving us a bit of an insight into the platform, into how it works, and how people can sign up if they're interested?
Sure. So that's the platform. Are you able to see the screen?
I am. Hello, Debbie. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you here. So this is the platform. This is what you developed. So you saw the problem, you got an innovation patent, and then you went ahead and you developed a solution, a a technology solution. Yes?
That's exactly right. So the whole concept, we have three fundamental values that we decided we'll base the company on. One is transparency.
Yep.
The second thing is integrity. So, every transaction has to be audited, and we will submit ourselves to external audit without any notifications. So anybody can audit us at any time. And the third thing is find ways to add value. Those were the three key values that we decided to base this company on. So this is what we call our dashboard area. So you can see all your financial data or whatever appointments you have, everything in the one place. This is all the costs you have ever paid us in one place. And there's all your member details there. So this is essentially the platform. So just to go through this platform, this is my own platform. So in the end of financial year 2018, 2019, on the 30th of June 2019, the balance in my account was $3,361.98. And I used to be with Medibank. Imagine that you losing that amount of money every year.
Okay, so essentially, instead of then paying your health insurance to your health insurer, which used to be Medibank, you're now paying the same premiums to your Xtras Health Plan. And then you get to save that money. That money remains in your account and you get interest on that money, and that money is always available to you. It's your money, as opposed to Medibank taking that money and then using it for their own purposes.
Yeah, going to their expenses, shareholders, wages, and all of those kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and as you can see here, that's the interest I earned on my money last year. And as this year rolls on, this amount of money carried forward. And as you can see, as of today, I've got nearly $8,000 available to me. And here's another second challenge I've got to anyone: show me a health plan or insurance. I'll give you that amount, access to that amount of money at the drop of a hat.
And so, Abraham, essentially, you can use that $7,991.1770 on any extras you want. So you can get optical, you can get glasses, dental work done, physio, or does this plan restrict what people are able to use their funds for?
No, as long as it's health. So we check for a few things. You can use it for whatever. So, just let's say you've been in hospital or whatever, and you've got a hospital gap to pay. You can use this money to cover that gap as well.
Okay, so it's health. It's not just extras. It's anything health related.
Yes, but we say this very clearly to anyone who joins us. Please don't think that this is hospital insurance. You're not going to build up enough money to cover yourself for a heart attack in 1 year.
Yeah.
Right. So look at this money as a kitty of fund that you have access to, that is dedicated for your health needs.
Okay, wonderful. So let me just say hello to Carolyn and to Kate. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about innovation, and we're talking to Abraham, and he's telling us his story around how he realized that there was a bit of a challenge or a problem in his industry with health insurance, and especially Xtras health insurance, and how he experienced the problem himself. And I think a lot of innovation actually often starts that way. I'm reminded of the Steve Jobs movie before he made the iPod, where he tried to listen to music, and there's this one scene where he actually throws this CD player or whatever he was using, he throws it in the bin, in the trash can, because he was experiencing that same problem. And Abraham, you were experiencing the problem of trying to call on your Xtras health cover, having had paid health insurance for 15 years and wanting to get braces for your daughter, just to realize that all of that money was lost and that they only covered a tiny portion of the cost.
That's exactly, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And so then you innovated this, and you went on and built this platform for that people can access to. That is a whole new, better way for people to get health insurance, where they never lose any of their premiums if they don't spend them.
Yeah, and just let's look at another aspect of this whole thing, right?
Yep.
So this is in 2018, 2019. I mean, this data here is up until today. It's current data. So if you look at, that's the amount of money that was returned to you that carried forward to the next year. But your total cost was $174 since June, since I became a member. So, you know, if you are financially inclined to look at your return on investment, you look at that return. And my third challenge is with your Xtras health insurance that you get, can you show me an ROI that is positive? You know,
yeah.
Because essentially, you know, we are all putting money aside or investing in something. Everything. The reason we do that is to have either peace of mind, or to earn a rate of return, or to have, or be comfortable in the knowledge that you're going to have some funds available to you when you need it, rather than get back into debt and pay interest and all those kind of things. And COVID is a very interesting period. You look at the number of, all you have to do is look at how buy now, pay later is just taking off. You know, starting to get off, and now they're just taking off like crazy. Everyone's ditching their credit card because of the interest rates. And from the latest data that is available on buy now, pay later is, you know, there's debts in excess of $2 billion that are not being paid, and interest rates on buy now, pay later are between 25 to 30%. So, you know, let's not talk about bankruptcies and things like that, but you can see the distant possibility of such things happening. So here's a way where you get rid of all that. You know, stay in control, stay in charge. And our message is very clear. At the end of the day, we're here to try and see how we can add value to you, be it health-wise, help you plan your money for your health needs, figure out ways to reduce costs for you. That's exactly what we're trying to do through this platform. So just another thing there. So what happens if you cancel your private health insurance? You've lost, say you've been...
Yeah, you lose all your money. You just stop being insured, yes? All of your premiums just disappear.
Right. So I'm just going through my platform. I'll just wait for it to load. So if I cancel this minute, right? That is the amount of money that's returned to me.
Yeah.
Right? And we're not here to stop you from canceling out. We're not going to try and talk you out of it or anything. It's available to you. Right? All this thing is very clear. Be a member if you want to be a member. If you don't want to be a member, we totally get it.
Okay, yeah, totally understand that. Right, so I want to ask one kind of last question.
Sure.
And that is, how did you start the development of the platform? So after you noticed that there was a problem, how did you decide that you should be the one to solve this problem? And how long did it take to develop the platform?
To be quite honest, when I noticed this problem, one of the first things I did was I contacted the Dental Association and said, "Hi guys, are you aware of this problem? You know, is there something that you guys are?" And I can tell you what they told me. What they told me was very clear. They said, "Only a madman will try to tackle this problem."
A rebel.
So I said, "Fair enough. I'm the mad guy."
Nice.
So I started doing it in my own practice for my own patients. And, you know, before I knew it, people were accumulating $3,000, $4,000, and then they were, you know, and then this whole thing tweaked when somebody said, "Doc, I've just been to the chiropractor. Do you think I can pay the chiropractor from that funds?" And I go, "Yeah, why not? It's your money." You know, the chiropractor is registered in Australia. It's an Australian business. His bank details are Australian, or your bank details are Australian. Ticks all boxes for me. No reason why you can't use it. Right? And then I think it's the year before where private health insurance stopped remedial massage and all that kind of stuff. Like you could not get it. And there's a huge number of people who actually use remedial massage and don't go to the dentist. And they lost the one thing that they had Xtras insurance for. And then we had some other people saying, can we use it for remedial massage? I was going, yeah. Did you get the service in Australia? Yes. Is it a registered Australian business? Do they have an APN? Do they have this? Can you provide me proof that they are registered with APRA or somebody? I need to see registration. They provided, and I was like, well, your choice. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. So when that happened, and then I ended up with a tax problem with the ATO because it was technically I had to hold funds in a certain way, and I ended up having to pay tax on money that was not mine.
Oh,
so
that's not ideal.
So then my accountant advised me to wind it up, and so I wound it up, and then I got positive reinforcement that I was a mad fellow from various people, and I said, yep, I'm mad. So, and then I started the next version of it, and the first version was called Mem Plans, which in short stood for Members Plans. And then the moment I launched it, I got taken to ACCC. You guess who took me there to ACCC? So I was in a battle with ACCC where ACCC alleged that I was pretending to be a health insurance company. And I said, prove it. Show me where I've said that I'm a health insurance company. But because I had used the word, it's like a bank where you can bank your money. They said, I'm now pretending to be a bank, and I can't use the word like a bank. So I had to reword the whole thing, which is fine. And then ACCC all on a sudden one day wrote to me saying they're dropping all legal proceedings against me. And I thought, fine, okay, what next? So they go, we think you're a managed investment scheme, so we're going to refer you to ASIC. ASIC took 18 or 24 months to make a decision that it was a managed investment scheme, which even today they say it may be a managed investment scheme. So they wanted me to go through licensing, a full financial services license. So I went through the whole process, and I've got a financial services license. I've got scheme registration. I've got everything. And then we launched in 2018. And then at the time, that's the time we had the Royal Commission into financial services. So when the Royal Commission came, they brought out a whole raft of things that had to be in place for any financial services provider, which made it very, very difficult for a small fry like me, but for the big fellows, it was a lot more easier. So I had to find a specific talent to add to my team. I found that specific talent, and now I've got the full license back, restored back as of March this year. And through COVID, we got a lot of requests from our existing members in terms of, on my platform, I showed you this, there's a split between what is available right now and what's available hold and things like that. So there's two of my members who through COVID ended up with mental anxiety and things like that. And they've been trying to use their health insurance and health insurance price for 3 visits, and then you're 100% out of pocket. So one of them had to be admitted to a hospital, and the health insurance would not cover them for that. So they wanted money out of Xtras, which we were very happy about. We go, okay, take it. But then he ended up having a bit of a gap to pay because there was money it was his own money, but it was being held because of the way ASIC wanted us to do things. So I applied to ASIC to waive that, so members have access to 100% of their own money. So they're in total control of how they choose to decide to spend it, because the last thing you want somebody is to stress over finances when they are already stressed.
Absolutely.
So we are now making those changes, and we are about to launch a new website. The other request was from a lot of members is they wanted to see some sort of calculators and things like that to make it easier. So we are launching a new website where you can plug in your own data and see how it all compares, and you make a more of an informed decision yourself. I'm trying in the process of building a bot. So the bot answers a service bot. So we are hoping to scale to up to 10,000 bots depending on demand. So that's the scale we're looking at. Apart from that, I've added another new team member in New South Wales, in Sydney, who is a financial expert. So I've got additional people that I can weigh in on, and hopefully take it that way. And marketing would be more of a social media gig at this stage. As a startup, it sucks, but I'll get there.
Yeah, the marketing, the taking the product to market is always a bit of a challenge. But from all of your story that you've told me, Abraham, one thing is really clear, and that is that you can overcome problems. I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to crack the marketing, and that once, and I think what's tricky is that it is a new way of thinking about Xtras insurance, and it's not insurance. It's essentially saving your own money and having access to your own money as opposed to paying it to an insurer and getting them to pay a little bit of your own money back to you. But certainly this is innovation, and I salute you for innovating so extremely well in your industry, and I salute you for creating the platform. Now, I know that Courtney has already posted in the comments the actual link to your website. So if anyone is interested in doing Xtras health insurance for healthcare specifically differently, and you want to have access to all of your money all of the time, I hope that ASIC approves that, have access to your money, then please feel free to visit that link and to have a look at the platform. It's a really, really innovative new way of thinking about saving money to look after your own health. And as we all know, and I think COVID really highlighted that, if you don't have your own health, then you have nothing, and health really is what supports your life. And so it's one of the most important things ever. So good on you, Abraham. I think it's really wonderful what you've done. Is there any last word of advice that you'd like to leave for people thinking about solving problems in their industry and innovating, kind of doing things differently?
I would say is if you do have an idea, pursue it. Let it be right or let it be wrong. Only time will tell you whether you've been right or wrong. And worst case scenario, you get an education. Best case scenario, you lift mankind. What have you got to lose? Either way, you win.
I love that. I absolutely love that mindset. And yeah, very, very, very well done for developing your platform and for solving your problem. And thank you so much for joining me on this HubLive today. It's really great chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was awesome.
Excellent. Join me next Thursday at 1 o'clock for our next HubLive. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you later.